guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Mary here from Layers of Chic, and today we are going to be talking about New York Fashion Week. So I thought I would do something a little bit different this season for my New York Fashion Week video. So today I'm going to be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly truths of New York Fashion Week. Because I feel like, you know, on social media, everything that you guys see is like super glamorized and it seems so cool. We're going to all these shows and changing into all these outfits and going to all these events. But in reality, it's really not like that, and there's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes, and there's also a lot of not so great aspects of New York Fashion Week. First of all, I was sick for most of Fashion Week. I actually managed to get sick at Foxwoods, so rather than feeling refreshed after the getaway, I actually got sick. So all throughout Fashion Week, I was coughing and had the most runny nose ever. So every single day, I would stuff tissues in my purse, even though my purses were very small. I was struggling with an eye infection, so I couldn't wear eye makeup. I never leave the house without mascara if I'm going to an event. But I have no eyeliner, which I always have eyeliner.
I'm just confident.
I'll be honest.
It was kind of liberating actually to not have to wear eyeshadow, and I would just wear fun sunglasses with my outfits. So it actually kind of worked out fine. I live in Brooklyn, and it is really not that convenient to get to Spring Studios. I had way less energy than I usually did, and I couldn't really push myself as much and go to as many things as I might have wanted to because I was just super tired and my body was telling me no. So yeah, heading over to Reckin, and then I have the Farfetch styling suite, and then after that I might actually go home. I do have a show tonight, but I think I might skip it depending on how I feel. I started taking Ubers, so the cost really does start to add up. A lot of shows are now either off-site or they're also at Pier 59 Studios. Unless you're a super like established blogger with over 100,000 followers or more, like you're not getting paid to go to these shows. So to be honest, like I've never been paid to attend Fashion Week or even had like Fashion Week related collaborations. So a lot of times, you know, I'm just killing myself to go to these fashion shows even though I'm not getting paid for it, and I'm actually spending money for all the Uber rides to get to and from, as well as spending my time and energy. So I am on my way home now. I got off the train and I live 10 minutes from the subway, and it is pouring outside, and I tried to get an Uber, but it was like 15 minutes away, so I ended up buying an umbrella, but it's freezing, which is not good for my cold. I think a lot of people go because they feel like they just have to be there. Like they need to be seen, they need to be relevant. I think the only thing that is relevant is what's relevant to your audience. So the good parts of New York Fashion Week, I would say for me, is definitely attending the shows of the designers that I am really, really excited to see, or discovering a new designer that I've never seen before, and I get to go to their show and I find myself really inspired by their designs. So the first show I went to was I Love Pretty, and that was one of the good parts of New York Fashion Week because I have never seen her show before and I really quite enjoyed the show. She's a designer from China, and the US government actually did not even give her a visa to come for her own shows. And her pieces were really fun, edgy, bold, and just very different. I loved seeing all of the different silhouettes, lots of cool colors and textures and details, and just really unexpected. So it really was a breath of fresh air, which I really enjoyed. Another good part about that show was that I was actually assigned a seat at the show. So it was really, really cool that they gave me a front row seat. So I was super, super excited about that, and I just loved it because I was able to see the designs up close and I was able to see all the details. I think that's the best part about getting a front row seat, is that you actually get to see like the details on the outfits, the embellishments, the shoes that they paired it with, the hair and makeup, the jewelry. So I love being able to see everything up close, and it was super, super cool. Another one of the good parts of this New York Fashion Week was that I got to see some of my favorite people from Farfetch. Farfetch is a brand that is near and dear to me because obviously they are an amazing luxury retailer, but last year I actually had the opportunity to go on a trip with them to North Carolina, and they had a styling suite where I could go and pull some outfits for my New York Fashion Week outfits. I got so many compliments on this C. Smart John suit today. So I guess that's what wearing a $2,000 suit will get you, lots of compliments. Noted for future and I'm so sad I have to return it tomorrow, but it is on loan from Farfetch. And what was really awesome was that the team from London was actually here in New York, so I finally got to meet them face to face, which was so cool because I just love finally being able to place a face to the name, especially after emailing with them for over 2 years now. In terms of another show that was one of the good parts of New York Fashion Week was the CYNTHIA ROWLEY show, because it was actually an outdoor runway show, which was super cool because I've never been to an outdoor runway show, and they basically closed down the street in Tribeca and had the runway set up on the street. So I basically just stood right on the side of the runway and I was able to see everything up close again. I was able to see all the details and outfits, and it was just such a fun show. I loved all of the retro inspired prints, all of the colors, and it just made me like want to hang on to summer because it totally got me into a summer vibe. So I don't know if you guys are aware, but the way it works with fashion shows is that you can either be assigned a seat or you'll get assigned priority standing or standing. The way it works is that if you have a seat, you can go directly into the show without waiting. If you have a priority standing line, usually they will let you in, sometimes with the seated people, but you won't be able to sit until all the seated people have been seated. And then there's a standing line where basically you essentially have to wait in line for, I would say, about 30 minutes to 40 minutes. And they basically let you in last. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys and tell you guys that it is very rare for a designer to give me a front row seat because I am still a smaller blogger. So last season for CYNTHIA Wong, I was assigned a front row seat, which once again was like one of the best parts of my fashion week last season because CYNTHIA Wong is a huge show and it's very popular. And I was honestly shocked that I was assigned a front row seat. And this season I was assigned standing. And I actually have more followers now than I did have in February. So, you know, when you're assigned a front row seat and then the next season you're assigned standing, you think like, did I do something wrong? Like, is there something wrong with me? Like, did my content get worse? At the end of the day, the reason that I was probably assigned standing is because things change every season and the show list changed as well as the number of invitees. So February in general is a smaller season because less people come to New York for Fashion Week during February because it's very cold here. So it could be as simple as that last season, not a lot of influencers maybe were attending, and then this season, more people are attending. Or it could be last season, maybe they were looking for a specific type of influencer. Maybe their influencer marketing last season had a strategy where they were targeting micro bloggers, and then this season they decided, no, we only want the big bloggers in front row. When I first started blogging, and this was when I had under 10,000 followers, I was invited to Sachin and Bobby. So I think I got to the show like 45 minutes before the start time. So I was literally like the first person to get there who had standing. The PR girl actually pulled me from the line and pulled me into a front row seat because she had remembered that I had been standing for so long. And I would say to this day, that was the highlight of my New York Fashion Week career. So at under 10,000 followers, I achieved the highlight of my New York Fashion Week ever, was front row at Sachin and Bobby. Another good thing about this fashion week for me was that I did get snapped by a number of street style photographers. So the street style photography scene is always kind of a hit or miss every season. So I will say that the last few seasons I've kind of struck out in terms of being photographed, and you just kind of never know like when your style is trending. This season for some reason, you know, it kind of came back in and I was snapped. 3 of my outfits were actually snapped by photographers. And the reason I bring this up is because at the CYNTHIA ROWLEY show, I was actually snapped by a Getty photographer, and then I later found my photo online, and the caption actually said that I was wearing a CYNTHIA ROWLEY dress, even though I wasn't. So I was actually wearing a thrifted vintage dress that was $50, but I love that the photographer thought it was a CYNTHIA ROWLEY dress because that basically means that I dressed the part and I looked like I really fit with the CYNTHIA ROWLEY vibe and the show. As much as it kind of sounds narcissistic, I do love finding my photo on street style magazines. I think it's because I've always stalked these street style articles when I was in college and in high school. So it's really kind of surreal when I see myself in those articles because, you know, 5 years ago I never thought that I would ever be here or be featured in these articles. So I just kind of, it's just like a thrill to me to kind of find myself there. So I thought it was really cool. And CYNTHIA ROWLEY, if you would like to dress me next season, please feel free to dress me because obviously I completely embody your style. Now let's talk about the ugly truth of New York Fashion Week. And I've kind of touched upon this already. So when it comes to being assigned a seat at shows, it really kind of depends on two things. One is obviously your following and your content, and then two is whether you know the PR people working the show. So there are bloggers that I've seen that are at my similar size, but they always have a seat at Fashion Week, and that's because, you know, they are able to make connections with the PR people that are working the shows. A lot of the tickets that I get are standing tickets. And once again, you know, this is not me complaining. I'm always very appreciative of all of the show invites that I receive. But what people don't talk about is that, let's be real here, guys, standing sucks. If a show is really, really popular, sometimes not all the standing people even get let in. And I'm going because I truly want to see the designer. Obviously, I would not stand an hour in the standing line. That is an ugly truth of Fashion Week that a lot of people don't talk about because it looks so glamorous. You see from my stories, oh my god, like look, she was at this show and this show, it looks so cool. But what you don't see is the fact that I stood for an hour in the standing line waiting to be seated. And really, it can be very frustrating to feel like you're not really progressing when it comes to Fashion Week, you know, going to the same shows every season, getting worse seats, not being invited back to certain shows, all of that, you know, just kind of sucks. Another ugly truth that I want to talk about, and you know, this might be kind of maybe a sensitive topic, I don't know. A lot of times, like, people are not that nice. And I think part of that is that everyone is really, really stressed. And, you know, especially when it comes to the PR people, like obviously everyone is, you know, working a million different things and just, you know, trying to get stuff done. Like fashion shows are so hectic, and I obviously understand that the PR people are under a lot of stress during this time and they're probably handling so many different requests, influencers, etc. I went to a show with a friend and I was actually her +1. When we got to the show and we tried to check in, her name was not on the list. And my friend was explaining to the PR girl that, oh, I was invited on behalf of this company. And the PR girl was like, no, if your name is not on the list, like you need to step aside. My friend texted her contact at the PR company that invited her. The PR lady actually texted back like, oh, this is completely out of my control at this point. Ultimately, like we were supposed to look for a person wearing like these pants who had like physical tickets for us. So they failed to tell my friend, and then when my friend texted them, they were like, oh, we don't know, like we have no idea. I mean, that's just kind of the reality of Fashion Week and of any industry in general, is that, you know, if you're not important enough or not VIP enough, you know, you may get treated like that. You know, your name might not be on check-in and your PR contact might, you know, not care as much, or, you know, fail to inform you how to check in. All of those things happen with Fashion Week, and it is very stressful, and obviously it's because everyone is stressed, but it's just kind of an added layer of stress. There's a lot of like status, you know, who's who, you know, are you cool enough, all that stuff. And you know, I just don't like any of that stuff. You know, I am in fashion because I love it and I genuinely want to see the designers, and you know, I just wish it wasn't like that. Hi Casey. Hey. We're at the salon project hosting. I have no eyes. I have very big eye bags. Look at my eye bags. Well, that's good if no one cares about my eye bags, actually. Thanks, Casey. You're so nice. Oh, that was unintentional. So nice to me. So sweet. I have to check my email. Can you go away? Okay.
Love it. Can't wait. Great.
Here's Brittany, first appointment of the day.
So excited.
She's getting, what are you getting, balayage?
We're getting some highlights.
Some highlights.
Okay, I'm getting some tone-on-tone action.
Tone-on-tone action.
What else?
What color are you doing?
Probably a little
Are you
bit
going lighter or darker?
darker.
Darker, okay. Ooh la la. I see, I see. I see.
Change it up, I guess.
Going along those lines, another great part about my New York Fashion Week this year was that one of my blogger friends, Gail from Simply Gail, she actually organized a group photo shoot. And the idea of this group photo shoot was that she wanted to showcase bloggers from different diversities and show that fashion is not just black and white. And it was really cool because we all showed up in different color outfits, so this was not coordinated. All we were told was to wear color, but somehow it really worked out because we all kind of wore different colors and we ended up looking like a rainbow. Since we did shoot at Spring Studios, which is the main venue for all the fashion shows, so while we were shooting this with our photographer Ashley, we attracted a lot of attention, and so we got our photos snapped by a lot of different publications, and it was so awesome because we actually found our photo on Getty Images, and then we also found it as the cover photo on Glamour UK in their street style article, and then also the cover photo on E! News Online in their street style article. And I just love that these sites chose our photo because we did showcase such a broad range of diversity rather than a typical picture of models, for example. So that was definitely one of the best parts of my New York Fashion Week this year. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got kind of a more insider look into how Fashion Week works. If you liked what you saw, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe, and also comment in the comment box below if you would like. If you're an influencer watching this video and have experienced similar things, also let me know in the comment box below. And I will see you guys in my next video.